Yo, this shit OP.
I call it one here Black Excellent because I'm black and I'm excellent. Black excellence. Black excellence. We gotta stick together, man. That's what we gotta do. Hey. Black excellence, I'm stressing it. My testimony confessing it. Middle finger to the law and every flag that's Confederate. From the bottom we came, but we still rolling like some tires. Trying to get a grip on life, gotta hold it like some pliers. In order to judge the man, you must know his heart. In order to find the light, you must know it's dark. God, I speak from within, but they ain't feeling me. Protect me from my friends, cause my friends are my enemies. Black excellence, young scholar, specialist. Big stepper like an elephant. Everybody closet got skeletons. I done read David, and I done read Moses. When I die, on my casket, put red roses. Woo, for us, by us, FUBU. But you knew, they say I'm gone crazy. Psycho.
All the voices in my head won't stop it. My only company.
Blood off my hands, the judgment coming fast, too much blood on his lane. The second exodus is about to happen, he plain. He's sending out the winds, on this rock we gon' stand. We gon' trust the son of man. Just to find the Bible, was disconnected from the source, we done found the power. Messiah built the church back, gotta trust the founder. The carpenter, got the father with him, ain't no stopping you. Protected by the winds if you got his heart with you. Stand on the narrow, the father gon' provide, y'all his eyes on the sparrow. Never seen the righteous get forsaken, not at all. The devil trying to take us cause he know he about to fall. Hey, Michael standing up in his hour, keep the laws. We gon' blow the trumpet, we ain't go to war with all. Messiah made a way, he laid it down for our flaws. We got the father with his Zion, stand tall. Protecting these commands, they at war with him. The dragon man, cause the remnant about to score with him. The children of the prophets, we done finally hockey. The law is the light, got us out the darkness. Return to the Father, ain't no other options. We let Messiah in, we done heard him knocking. Worthy is the Lamb, ain't no better time, surrender all right now. Ain't no looking back, you ain't lot wife, hell no. Fit for the kingdom, ain't no way that he gon' fail y'all. Training up his kids, ain't no way we gon' derail y'all. The devil making war with the saints, man, he smell y'all. We gon' go to war about these commandments to the end. Protect my father word, this ain't no game, this ain't pretend. Messiah coming back, we study yet and I repent. The angels on the corner, finally blowing out the wings. Ain't no other way to get protected but the blood. I'll put your mercy and your grace around us. Keeping these commandments, cause we know that's real love. Building up this ark, cause you send it out flood. Where you see his hand upon this land, it's time to leave. Sodom and Gomorrah out of order, time to flee. Babylon gon' burn, every nation about to see. Messiah coming back, everybody to their knees. Every knee gon' bow. Boy, girl, child, y'all, he coming in the clouds. Thousands of years, now it's almost time now. The valley of the drought, we done came alive now. This for every nigga you done hung, every baby you done raped, everything that you done done. Ain't no way you gon' escape, ain't no way that you gon' run. You gon' see him face to face with a hill Babylon, but we can't.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. 7-8 Red. All right, you know
7-8 Red.
That's the one we always have issues with, family. Nobody else but Red.
I know. My goodness.
No, I'm joking. Z had a whole microphone issue. Well, I couldn't get on at all, remember?
I remember. These technicalities.
Hallelujah. Well, shalom, shalom, shalom. Blessing to be with y'all again, family. We got the extra special guest, Akoti Ribkaya, with y'all today. With us, I should say. With me.
Always with you, baby.
Always lovely and beautiful.
In front of this camera, maybe not so much. But always at your back, baby.
I pray that everybody had a blessed week. It's all good. Man, it's good to see y'all this week. Figure out what to do with my mic here. Poking up against my Adam's apple.
Your Lanthrax.
My larynx.
Larynx.
All that good stuff.
Oh
We don't
goodness.
get this thing figured out.
Well, you know, I be knowing what I'm talking about. Just maybe ain't, and pronouncing it correct.
Yes. It's the Jesse Jackson syndrome.
Hey, it's a real thing.
All
Shabbat
right,
shalom, Brett.
Let's do a quick roll call. We got a lot of y'all in the room today. Who we got in here?
I know we got a full house today. Shabbat
Koti
shalom,
Shabbat
Koti
shalom.
Shabaya, Koti Celeste,
Shabbat shalom, sis.
Koti Gilead,
Shabbat shalom to the fam.
Koti Deborah,
Shalom.
Koti Leslie,
Shalom.
Ema,
Hey, Ima. Shabbat shalom and blessings.
Koti Christina,
Shalom, sis.
Koti Shanti baby,
Shalom, sis.
and I think that's Bree just came in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hallelujah.
Everybody else, y'all gotta say Shabbat Shalom or something so we can see y'all.
See
Cause
Koti Gilead. Did you already say Koti Gilead?
yeah, I said Shabbat Shalom. Koti, you hear me? Hey, Kitty.
Koti Kimmy. Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Ooh, it's been a bit of a long week.
That's a Koti. I'm sorry, baby.
Mhm.
That's a Koti. Tasha, we can't forget Koti Tasha.
Koti Latasha. Shalom to the fam.
Shalom, my sister. Yeah. It's a long week.
For me, I don't know about you.
It was a yeah,
It's a struggle.
man.
It's a trial and
Let
tribulation.
me tell you something, man. I be out here, man, like between the chicken coop,
Mhm.
the garden beds,
Mhm.
the chapter that still needs to be done,
Yeah.
these cheering schooling. You know what I'm saying? By all means.
What we focus on here on this YouTube channel is foundational things. There's a lot of people talking about what's going on currently in the world today. What is a distraction and what are you being distracted from? What's the deep, dark secrets behind this? What is the wickedness behind that? What is prophecy saying about what's going on right now? There's a lot of people talking about all of that, and those are all good things. We need all of that. The Most High put on our hearts to work on foundation, because a lot of times people get into the understanding that we are who we are and they jump straight to the new and shiny things. And then when the next new and shiny thing comes along, you off onto the next new and shiny thing, because you didn't take the time to make sure your roots were firmly planted.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's what we do. Go bags are great. We can talk about go bags. We focus on getting through the scriptures. And at this point now, we're even going back to foundational things, because we have children that are like, they're now coming to the age where we need to circle back to deal with the topics that we talked about with our older children with them again. And so even with that, I was just telling Real, we might start recording those and putting those up, because it's like ABCs of these things. It's like the, who we are in our culture for dummies, if you will. But this is the channel where we do that stuff.
Yeah.
The channel, the Hebrew Griot channel. We these are sister channels, yes, but the Hebrew Griot channel is its own entity. It is stories for those that are seeking set apart stories for edutainment, educational entertainment. Yeah, listen, there's always that thing, right, fam, that you could do when you want to reach out to somebody personally. You email them, say you don't know. Was that a snore?
That was the dog? Oh,
when
my
you don't know somebody
goodness.
personally, like you don't have their personal number or something like that, you can email. Sis got emails all on her website. There's email on the Project Wake Up Jacob website. Like for the oct that jumped in with his Cash App last week. Before you jump out there and just do something like that. Decency and in order. Like
and in order. Okay.
It's a way to deal with stuff.
Yeah.
We're not difficult people to deal with. I don't think my wife just have a butthole sometimes.
He is. Well, you know, we love him. I love you.
I love y'all too.
Mm.
Well, family.
She said it reminds me of Anatolia and Pam. My good sis, you talented as well, but don't hate on my blessings.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So we got some good reading to get into today. I had to drag on the mic and on the camera today, y'all.
Man, I'm so glad my children have decided they gonna help their daddy out sometime. I do. This ain't for me. This ain't. Sister, I be throwing it in people's faces. If only she knew. This life ain't for me.
Yeah. It's just what needs to be done, you know? Sometimes you gotta, I know my children, man, every Shabbat morning, just to break down the fourth wall, as they say. I gotta drag my children out to bed. I gotta make them brush their teeth and wash their face and eat some breakfast and start reading their scriptures every Shabbat morning.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like I don't want to paint a picture that everything flows smoothly and
Oh
fluidly
my goodness.
over here, because it does not.
If only you knew.
You know, my older children, they join in sometimes. Sometimes they don't join in.
Father, yeah.
I'll be like, where they at? Are they getting out of bed today? Are they fellowshipping today? Are they Israelites today?
I know. Are they keeping the commandments today?
Yeah, are you keeping the commandments this week or what? What are we doing? Are they wearing tassels today? You know, I don't want to paint no false pictures.
I'm telling you, she said we be throwing the kids. I don't know why. You know what it takes to get these children to read and write and math?
Right. Coach say we like having you on screen, River. You have gotten better from.
She said you have gotten better, more tamed over these. No. Let me tell you something. As soon as one of these children be like, Dad, come on, Miss me and you, let's roll. I'm stepping way back. I'm telling you.
As soon as these children be like, Dad, we got it from here, you and Mom step back.
Oh man, that'd be a blessing.
We're gonna be tuning in like y'all.
Right, sitting there like on the sideline.
What we reading over today? That's what I'll be asking them. What we reading over today, young blood?
Sure.
Okay. All right, y'all. We are picking up in the book of 2 Kings. It is, sis. Sis, it's hard out here for us parents.
Yeah, it is.
You
she
had
said
to
take everybody's life.
What? No, sis. Don't get the people called on you.
Sis, I already know, Jack. I already know, boy.
Oh, I forgot to pull this up. Let me set this up real quick.
These children, boy, we have to be close to tears. Yeah, about 2 to 3 times a week.
It did it.
Right. It didn't do it.
All right, 1 second, fam. Let me get eSword added on here.
All right.
Okay, hallelujah. All right, Ruby.
All right, my brother. What are we picking up?
Ladies first.
Okay, you said
not Isaiah. I'll tell you that much.
I'm telling you because I'm like Isaiah.
2 Kings.
2 Kings.
Chapter 16.
16. Okay.
All right. Skip ahead. All right. Can I get a one? I see y'all with the ones. Throwing your ones up in there.
Okay.
All right.
In the 17th year of Hequah, son of Ramaliah, Ahaz, son of Jehoiakim, sovereign of Yehuda, began to reign. Ahaz was 20 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. He did not do what was right in the eyes of Yahuwah, his power, as his father Dawid had done. But he walked in the way of the sovereigns of Israel, and he also made his son pass through the fire, according to the abomination of the nations, whom Yahuwah had dispossessed from before the children of Israel. And he slaughtered and burned incense on the high places and on the hills and under every green tree. Then Rezin, sovereign of Aram, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, sovereign of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to battle, and they besieged Ahaz, but were unable to overcome him. At that time, Rezin, sovereign of Aram, covered Eliath for Aram and drove the men of Yehuda from Elath. And the Edomites went to Elath and have dwelt there to this day. And Ahaz sent messengers to Tiglath-Pileser, sovereign of Ashur, saying, I am your servant and your son. Come up and save me from the hand of the sovereign of Aram and from the hand of the sovereign of Israel, who are rising up against me. And Ahaz took the silver and the gold that was found in the house of Yahuwah and in the treasuries of the house of the sovereigns, and sent it as a present to the sovereign of Ashur. And the sovereign of Ashur listened to him. And the sovereign of Ashur went up against Damascus and captured it, and exiled it to Kir, and he killed Rezin. And the sovereign Ahaz went to meet Tiglath-Pileser, sovereign of Ashur, at Damascus, and saw a slaughter place that was at Damascus. And the sovereign Ahaz sent to Uriah the priest to sketch up the slaughter place and its pattern and according to all its workmanship. And Uriah the priest built a slaughter place according to all that the sovereign of Ahaz had sent from Damascus. And Uriah the priest made it before sovereign Ahaz came from Damascus. And when the sovereign came from Damascus, the sovereign saw the slaughter place. And the sovereign approached the slaughter place and made offerings on it. And he burned his ascending offerings and his grain offerings, and he poured his drink offerings and sprinkled the blood of his peace offerings on the slaughter place. And the bronze slaughter place, which was before Yahuwah, he brought from the front of the house, from between the new slaughter place and the house of Yahuwah, and put it on the north side of his slaughter place. And the sovereign Ahaz commanded Uriah the priest, saying, on the great slaughter place, burn the morning ascending offerings and the evening grain offerings, and the sovereign's ascending offerings and his grain offerings, with the ascending offerings of all the people of the land, and their grain offerings and their drink offerings, and sprinkle on it all the blood of the ascending offerings and all the blood of the slaughterings. And the bronze slaughter place is for me to inquire by. And Uriah the priest did according to all that the sovereign Ahaz had commanded him. And the sovereign of Ahaz cut off the side panels of the stands and removed the basins from them. And he took down the seat from the bronze oxen that were under it and put it on a pavement of stone. And the covered way which they had built in the house for the Sabbath, and the sovereign's outer entrance he took from the house of Yahuwah, because of the sovereign Ashur. And the rest of the acts of Ahaz which he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Yehuda? So Ahaz slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of Dawid. And Hiskiah his son reigned in his place. Yeah, he did a lot of stuff.
Are y'all noticing a pattern here too? Because I was thinking about this last week when we were reading. So you have these succession of kings in Judah that they're not doing quite as wickedly as the kings that are kings over Israel, who they say are just doing worse than the king before and worse than the king before. But these kings of Judah are refusing to break down these slaughter places that was in the cities. Now you got him. He's seen an altar in Assyria and wants to duplicate this altar and bring something like it into or outside of the temple for Yahuwah. And as you were reading that, I was thinking about what we were reading with the children earlier, because we were talking about the temple being what's the word you said?
A metaphor.
A metaphor for the body and for the assembly. And so Yahuwah gave Dawid a pattern for Shlomo to build this temple. In my mind, I'm like, it's almost like a baby growing into adulthood, and you've been given this body, and then now you start saying, I see something over there, I want to alter my body, even though this is the way you made it. I'm guilty. I've done that. But I'm saying, I wonder how y'all look at it, especially with the temple.
Well, it kind of reminded me what else you was saying this morning when he told us back in the beginning when we were supposed to be killing off all those nations and running all those people out that we did not.
Yes.
He said, at least, these people, you end up making a covenant with these people.
And then worshiping their gods. Yeah.
And so we had these people that was living amongst us. And so, they was building temples and stuff to their gods. And what was we doing? And we was living right that we was marrying them. And, you know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, you
marry into them and then they turn your heart away.
The exact same thing Ariel wanted us not to do. Right. And to us, after generations of that, you forget. You know what I mean? And what becomes real is what's right there in front of you.
Right.
My mama is one of them bone dancers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My daddy is like, but it's my mama's house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My mama, you know what I'm saying? So although my daddy a lukewarm Israelite, my mama, who voiced the loudest because this her nest, got a lot of bone dancing stuff going on.
You hit the nail on the head right there, because that's the most common arrangement that I've experienced. The two-parent household with the children in it, that's rare. Both parents practicing Israelites. But either the mama is an Israelite and the children there, and the daddy doing something else, or either the daddy is a lukewarm Israelite, children somewhere else with mama, and mama and them doing something else.
Doing their damn bone dance.
Saying your daddy can't run nothing around here. And the best he telling her is, don't let my baby eat no pork.
Yeah, and so then that baby grow up and become a part of parliament or whatever, and he got some of that bone dancing tendencies in him. So Jerusalem began to change over time because we have been seduced by, you know what I'm saying, all them people. Remember when we was reading it say, Abiyah told them to kill them all or run them all off, but they allowed this group to stay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Several times.
And so, and that's what we got. But Iman say, we always had a problem doing what other nations did, trying to worship our powers in the same way that they worship their gods. This is something Yah had told us not to do. Absolutely. Koti said, they were saying, ooh, did y'all see the new church they built over there? Let's build one just like it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And welcome our neighbors in. Absolutely.
Supposed to do that.
Especially when you come to, you want to buy and sell, you want to do business with, you want to create these relationships. And back in the day, marriage was the perfect way to start a business arrangement. You know what I'm saying?
But it's still technically the same thing. In the society that we live in, the marriage contract is technically a business arrangement.
Yep.
That is technically what it is.
Yep.
Once we go to them to put that document on paper, that's how they look at it. Okay. Let's see what else we got here.
All right.
All right, picking up with chapter 16.
17.
That's what I'm saying. Dennis.
Dennis.
Would you mind scrolling that for me?
Yes.
All right. And in the 12th year of Ahaz, sovereign of Yehuda, Hoshea, son of Elah, began to reign over Israel in Shomeron for 9 years. And he did evil in the eyes of Yahuwah, but not as the sovereigns of Israel who were before him. Shalmaneser, sovereign of Ashur, came up against him, and Hoshea became his servant and rendered him a present. But the sovereign of Ashur found a conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So, sovereign of Mizraim, and had not. Oh, let me reread that. I apologize. But the sovereign of Ashur found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So, sovereign of Mizraim, and had not brought a present to the sovereign of Ashur, as year by year. And the sovereign of Ashur shut him up and bound him in prison. And the sovereign of Ashur went through all the land and went up to Shomeron and besieged it for 3 years. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the sovereign of Ashur captured Shomeron and exiled Israel to Ashur. So Ashur, it says in this translation, but again, y'all, that's Assyria in this translation, correct?
So my question is, so this is that first time, this is the
Assyrian exile.
But the one that they say that the guys that started torturing Mormons say that the book of Bruise they found, this was the captivity they said they came from. During this is when they split off. Remember we was reading in the Book of Mormon.
No. I think the place that you're talking about, we read about that place in the Apocrypha, the place that some people say is America.
No.
The land that begins with an A.
So remember we was reading about, we highlighted this because we was reading about this event that's happening here. This event is in this event, the event that's wrote about the guy who, the people, the Bruise who was supposed to have escaped this event, traveled. They say these are the Bruise that ended up in America.
Oh,
and
still related to that other scripture I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I guess if that's what you got highlighted.
Yeah, that's what I got highlighted. This one. Yeah, I got that highlighted as that event. Because remember, we was like, if that's true, it should be in the scriptures. And we went and we researched, and we found the actual.
And you found this and related to what other writing?
So, not the
Apocrypha.
No.
Okay.
What is the book that the Book of Mormon is based off of? The writings that they so-called found buried.
Either you talking about
I forget what was it. What was
the Pearl of Great Price.
Yeah.
One of those.
So the guy, the family, the guy who, the Hebrew who supposed to had authored that or been moved by the set apart spirit to write it, came out of this event. This is the story he told about the escape and how his family escaped. Anyway.
Yeah, I think I remember I think I remember us talking about that. I just don't remember if we wound up validating, or in our minds validating what they said to be true.
True. I don't know if we did either. I had it highlighted here. I just
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Picking up in
I think 7. What?
Okay, verse 7. Let's go verse 6.
Okay.
In the 9th year of Hoshea, the sovereign of Ashur captured Shomeron and exiled Israel to Ashur and settled them in Halath and Habor, the river of Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes. What I did want to point out though is, so this Ashur began to come and start siphoning off these places that Israel, that the 10 tribes were in our reading from last week, if you guys remember. So here they're continuing. Okay. Verse 7. Now this came to be because the children of Israel had sinned against Yahuwah their power, who had brought them up out of the land of Mizraim from under the hand of Pharaoh, sovereign of Mizraim, and feared other mighty ones, and walked in the laws of the nations, whom Yahuwah had dispossessed from before the children of Israel, and of the sovereigns of Israel that they had made. And the children of Israel secretly did against Yahuwah, their power, matters that were not right. And they built for themselves high places in all their cities, from watchtower unto wall city. Interesting you brought up Mormons. If there's a watchtower there. I know that's the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah.
And set up for themselves pillars and asherim on every high hill and under every green tree, and burned incense there on all the high places, like the nations whom Yahuwah had removed from their presence. And they did evil matters to provoke Yahuwah, and served the idols, of which Yahuwah had said to them, do not do this. And Yahuwah warned Israel and Yehudah through all of his prophets, and every seer, saying, turn back from your evil ways, and guard my commands and my laws, according to all the Torah which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. But they did not listen, and hardened their necks like the necks of their fathers, who did not put their trust in Yahuwah, their Elohim. So I just want to emphasize this here, because this is one of the things that I tend to bring up a lot when we start talking about like what Yehukanan or Yakanan, the immerser, John the Baptist, was doing in the so-called New Testament. He was what people refer to as a shofar in the wilderness, saying, repent, turn back, the end is near. And we got people now doing the same thing in this Hebrew Israelite awakening, saying, wake up, repent, turn back to the law, statutes, and commandments. And it's a little bit of a subtle thing to realize, well, right now you're trying to get people to come back to their nationality and to their heritage. And as people are coming back to their nationality and their heritage, the sad thing about it, as Real points out ever so often, is that people are waking up in the same state that they went to sleep in. And I like to point out to people when we have those conversations, well, yeah, it makes sense, because when the prophets was telling people repent, just like we just read about, we knew who we were. So even back here, as it says, Yah sent the prophets to tell them, and every seer, saying, stop doing what Yah told you don't do. So again, I'm underscoring here that just knowing that we Israel was not enough. They knew they was Israel.
Yes, they did.
And they were still out there doing everything that they saw somebody else doing. It was like, oh, that looked interesting. Oh, that looked good. We're going to mix that in with what we doing.
And what's crazy is the world looking at us. We set the trend, we set the fashion,
and everything.
you know what I'm saying?
But you got brews, and I mean brews that know they brews, that incorporate not just the things that they used to do, but then the new things that they're learning about into this to try to make this something bigger and better than what it already is. As if this is not big enough and great and awesome enough.
Yeah.
So now you want to take being a Hebrew Israelite and integrate it with being Islam.
Yeah.
Or you want to take being a Hebrew Israelite and integrate it with witchcraft.
Yeah.
You want to take being a Hebrew Israelite and integrate it with Christianity. That's a big one. You want to integrate being an Israelite with being a 5%. You want to integrate being an Israelite with,
what's the one
astroplaning?
Yeah,
and all of that type of
that,
stuff.
yeah. What the metaphysics?
Metaphysics, yeah.
The Hebrew metaphysics. That's the thing. What is it called?
Universal practical knowledge.
Yeah.
Well,
USPK.
Practical knowledge was always practical knowledge. It's another term for the practicing of the craft, right? Universal practical knowledge and being an Israelite, you don't need to mix that together. This is, I hate to say, universal and practical and real knowledge without you doing,
And if you just have
that stuff.
Sometimes, brews prophets or people, if you just have to do something in your mind that's fanciful or magical or it's the book is full of it.
Right.
The book it's full of it. It's full of phenomenal events.
Yeah.
Abiyah parted a sea so that these people could walk through. That's phenomenal. That's he said here in this last reading. He said, "I'm gonna do things with you
Right.
that the nations have never seen."
Yeah.
So Moses went to Egypt, and Egypt had the best magicians in the land at the time. Everybody knew that Balaam was there.
Yeah.
Who's slinging that magic like Balaam? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so they had the best. And when Moses went, and Moses wasn't even, that ain't what he did. Moses wasn't even like one of the prophets who, that's what they did. They sit up in the mountains and move stuff around all the time, just sitting there juggling rocks with their mind. The prophets that was doing all kind of mystical things. Moses was a warrior, but Abiyah took Moses and he did a few things that even Balaam then was like,
Yep.
what you say? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so it's just like, I guess, I don't know, it ain't never, our own ain't never good enough. Why everybody else want it.
That is the thing that we fall victim to all the time. Like Iman was saying earlier, what y'all said and what y'all gave and what y'all did. I apologize. It's always short of what we're looking for. We always looking for more.
Oh wait.
Okay, I see that. But what's next?
This ain't never.
What else?
Yeah.
Well, what they do? Let me do some of that. What they doing over there?
Yeah.
So this is why Israel, the 10 tribes, starts getting taken up into this captivity, because y'all said, okay, enough is enough. How long you think? And if we believe that the Most High Yah is slow to anger and patient, how long you think he gonna give us before he's like, all right, listen, enough is enough.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on here. We've had countless kings. We've named so many kings at this point. We all got tired.
Yeah.
To name the kings. Who can name the kings? I don't know. Too many for me to name.
Yeah.
Y'all says, all right, well, I'm sending Assyrian. Verse 15. And rejected his laws and his covenant that he had made with their fathers, and his witness which he had witnessed against them, and went after worthlessness and became worthless, and after the nations who were all around them, of whom Yahuwah had commanded them not to do like. And they left all the commands of Yahuwah their power, and made for themselves a molded image, 2 calves, and an Asherah, and bowed themselves to all the hosts of the heaven, and served all the hosts of the heaven, and caused their sons and daughters to pass through the fire, and practiced divination and sorcery, and sold themselves to do evil in the eyesight of Yahuwah to provoke him. When you hear somebody talking about selling themselves or selling their souls, this is what it really means, to sell yourself to do evil, meaning you're using your body to do something that now links you with those spirits, those deities that you are now working for. You sold your physical being to do or to work for them, as opposed to having your physical being work for Yahushua. Being bought for a price, as the book says. 18. And Yahuwah was very enraged with Israel, and removed them from his presence. None was left but the tribe of Yehudah alone. Yehudah also did not guard the commands of Yahuwah their power, but walked in the laws of Israel which they had made. You understand what they're saying, right?
Yeah.
We winging this thing. And Yahuwah rejected all the seed of Israel and afflicted them, and gave them into the hand of plunderers until he had cast them out of his presence. For he tore Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam, son of Nebat, sovereign. And Jeroboam drove Israel from following Yahuwah, and made them commit a great sin. And the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam which he did. They did not turn away from them, until Yahuwah removed Israel from his presence, And he spoke by all his servants, the prophets. Here we go again. So Israel was exiled from their land to Asher as it is to this day.
And then you see it came right back around to Jeroboam.
Mm-hmm.
Jeroboam, you remember what Jeroboam did? Jeroboam created his own temple.
His own temple.
So his own, he built him a church. Jeroboam built the first church.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
this is the house of God.
This is the house of God here. You know what I'm saying? And I
his,
know
in his Reverend, what's his name was?
Who?
Mr. Eagle.
The Christmas. What is his name? I know they just said it in the room. I know they said it. What is his name? He be touching on some truths, but boy, he got the kind of voice that you just be like, man, how you get romantic with your woman? With
Stop.
Hey, girl. Come on in there. No, but it came right back around to Jeroboam.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so,
yeah. This is also a key point in our read through, fam, because if you fairly new into this walk, sometimes you hear people speak of Israel. No, not TD Jakes, the one that came at TD Jakes.
Yeah, what's Roscoe Jenkins? No, Jenkins.
Pastor Gino.
Gino Jenkins.
Yeah, with the raspy voice.
Oh.
So yeah, if you're very new in this walk or young in this walk, sometimes you hear us talk about Israel as the 12 tribes incessantly, to the point where I can remember when we were still young in our walks, there was a question of whether or not we knew what or believed we understood what tribe we come from. We were being taught by those that we were studying under that you don't have a way of knowing. But here we read about something very significant that happens. When it says that the 10 tribes, Israel, was scattered among Asher as it is to this day, that's the first scattering. So all of the places that the Assyrians ruled, this is where all the 10 tribes were moved to. He says, I rejected them from before my face. Right? This is where they were taken to. By the time we get to reading about the Babylonian captivity, it's just Judah, some of the Levites, and a small portion of Benjamin. So when you talk about jumping forward to 70 AD, and we wonder why is Jews being referenced all the time, you know, the king of the Jews this, the Jews that. That's who was there. The tribe of Judah. That's who was there. We can't, and I'm guilty of this, we can't then go and remove the name Jew or Judah there and insert the name Israel. For example, I'll give you an example. I had to repent of this. And I saw a brother just do a study on this not too long ago. He was an elder. He did the same thing. He was wrong. Messiah said to the young lady at the well, there will come a time when everyone will worship in a certain way. I'm paraphrasing. You worship what you know not. We worship what we know, for deliverances of the Yehudim. It says deliverances of the Jews. We were under, I'm using that phrase specifically, and we had come out from under teachings and teachers that were saying deliverances of Israel.
They were changing that. They were changing that scripture.
And I did it too. I was guilty too. This elder just did it. I just saw a study on that recently. It said deliverances of Israel. It don't say deliverances of Israel. It says deliverances of the Yehudim. We just read about Israel being removed from Yahuwah's face. 10 tribes were scattered and still are scattered. I'm not saying there's not any of the 10 tribes in America. That's very possible. But the 10 tribes were scattered before Judah was scattered. Judah went into the Babylonian captivity, and we read about Judah from there. We track Judah. And then we come back to try to track Israel when Paul, the emissary to the Gentiles, is sent to go find Israel among the Gentiles, because that's where Israel got scattered to. Does that make sense, y'all?
Yep. One of the things that I had to repent about was, so, like I said, it's the earlier on we used to hear like, these, especially these camps, kind of teaching that salvation is just for Israel, and and that anywhere in the book where the taught ones are talking to the Gentiles or whatever, they talking to Israel, and I instantly like start balking at that. I'm like, why would they call Israel Gentiles? The fact is, a lot of places in the book, they were talking to Israel. A lot of places when they mentioned Gentiles, they were in fact talking to Israel. And I had to repent about that, because they did start looking, this Assyrian attack, it happened so many years before that, after generations and generations and generations of them being scattered and just lost. And with old Jeroboam leading the way, they was kind of lost to begin with. You know what I'm saying? And so they start looking at Judah, start looking at them as Gentiles, which is crazy, because the attitude of, one of the things we say about Jewish people is
Israelis.
is that, like, I was just gonna say 2939.
Okay.
So one of the things we say about 2939 is like, okay, so let's say you are right and you are the people. What are the other 10 tribes at? But their attitude, the way that they see being the people, is exactly the way Yehuda would have seen it back in the day. It's just us. It ain't no.
It's the way we saw it back then.
It's the way we saw it back in the day. Like,
and that's probably where it was adopted from when they were converted.
Some Kabbalians that they are.
Yeah,
no, but
converts.
Right. But yeah, that's exactly how we would have saw it.
Okay. 21. 20?
You got to be at least be on 24, 25. Because look where you're at in this time.
I think 20.
I've been scrolling down. Maybe 24. You're on 24. I remember now.
Okay. Yes, you're right. Okay. And the sovereign of Ashur brought people from Babel, and from Kathua or Katha, and from Awa, and from Hamath, and from Shephawayim, and placed them in the cities of Shomeron instead of the children of Israel. Whoa! And they took possession of Shomeron and dwelt in its cities. And it came to be, and Akoti made mention of this, it does speak a lot of this, about this in the book of Josephus. These people began to call themselves Israelites, even though they weren't. When you read about, for example, these Samaritans was calling themselves, was because they lived there, was calling themselves Israelites.
And that's how you know it was an issue. Because of the story when Messiah did the tale of the Good Samaritan. Because the Bruce was already looking at the Samaritans as they was imposters. Except when Messiah did the parable.
And it came to be at the beginning of their dwelling there that they did not fear Yahuwah, and Yahuwah sent lions among them, and were killing among them.
Wow.
And they spoke to the sovereign of Ashur, saying, the nations whom you have removed and placed in the cities of Shomeron do not know the righteous ruling of the power of the land. And he has sent lions among them, and see, they are slaying among them because they do not know the righteous ruling of Yahuwah, of the power of the land. And the sovereign of Ashur commanded, saying, send one of the priests whom you exiled from there to go there. Oh, this is how they learn law. Let him go and dwell there, and let him teach them the right rulings of he probably would have said, of the God of the land. And one of the priests whom they had exiled from Shomeron came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how to fear Yahuwah. But every nation was making mighty ones of its own, and put them in his house, put them in the houses of the high places which the Shomerim had made.
So they
the
had them a
Shomronites.
church. They had their church there.
Every nation, and then they were putting, little gods in their house too. Like the crosses on the walls, and Big Mama in them house, or the pictures of
White Jesus.
Jesus and Martin Luther King.
You say Martin Luther King, Barack
Malcolm
Obama,
X,
not Barack Obama.
Barack Obama.
Yeah, you know, now you got white Jesus, Martin Luther King, and Barack Obama.
Holy Trinity.
Man.
Yeah, so they were putting these deities in their house, right? And the men of Babel made Succoth Benoth, and the men of Cuth made Negral, and the men of Hamath made Ashima, and the Alwites made Nebaz and Tartak, and the Shaparites burned their children in fire to Adramelech, and Anamelech, the mighty ones of Shapharim. They also feared Yahuwah, and from every class they made for themselves priests of the high places, who offered for them in the house of the high places.
So that just was a hodgepodge mess.
Mess, all kind of mess.
They gotta had all them gods, but they also feared Yahuwah. So.
This sounds like America right now.
Yes, it does.
This sounds like us right here in America right now. Making priests of every class.
So this really was the beginning of Israel turning into what you see it is today.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying?
Yep. They were fearing Yahuwah, and they were serving their almighty ones. This is oxymoron. According to the ruling of the nations, and among whom they had been exiled. To this day, they are doing according to the former rulings unto this day. They are not fearing Yahuwah, nor do they follow their laws or their right rulings or the Torah and the command which Yahuwah has commanded the children of Jacob, whose name he made Israel. Because I'm spiritual. I don't really, I know about the Bible, but I don't really believe in the Bible.
But I'm still spiritual.
But I'm spiritual. I believe there's a God, yeah. But with whom Yahuwah had made a covenant and commanded them, saying, do not fear other mighty ones, nor bow down to them, nor serve them, nor slaughter to them. But Yahuwah, who brought you up from the land of Egypt, from Mizraim, with great power and with an outstretched arm, him you shall fear. And to him you shall bow yourselves, and to him you shall slaughter. And guard to do forever the laws and the right rulings, and the Torah, and the command which he wrote for you. And do not fear other mighty ones. And do not forget the command which I have made with you, and do not fear other mighty ones, but fear Yahuwah, your power. How many times you got to say the same thing?
Over and over, apparently.
So that he delivers you from the hand of your enemies. And they did not obey, but did according to their former ruling. So these nations were fearing Yahuwah and served their carved images, both their children and their children's children, as their fathers did. They are doing to this day.
To this day.
Whew.
This is the beginning of Israel being. This is the beginning of
sorrow.
Israel being spoken of the way it's spoken of in the book of Revelations. Revelations call that a wicked place. Something that used to be this diamond in the rough.
Says the land is looking forward to its Sabbath. When we return home.
Yeah.
Waiting to rejoice. Okay. Chapter 18.
Okay, we're gonna do.
It was a long one. If you want to read the whole thing, you can.
I don't know.
You split it?
Yeah, we can do 16,
Okay.
And it came to be in the 3rd year of Hoshea, son of Eli, sovereign of Israel, that Hiskiah, son of Ahaz, sovereign of Yehudah, began to reign. He was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Abi, daughter of Zechariah. And he did what was right in the eyes of Yahuwah, according to all that his father Dawid did.
We haven't heard that in a while.
I know.
Because what we heard before, they did right in the eyes of Yah, but not as righteous as Dawid.
Yeah. He took away the high places and broke the pillars and cut down the asherums and broke in pieces the bronze serpents which Moses had made. For unto those days the children of Israel burned incense to it and called it Nehushtan. So they began to worship. They called it like it was some kind of spiritual place or something, some kind of sacred place.
I wonder about the bronze serpent often because I've had a pastor, bring up the bronze serpent as well. And I don't know that it's a fly. I don't know that was a great thing that happened there. I know that it was for the people to look upon and be healed, but why was they in need of healing in the first place?
Was it as a reminder of what not to do?
Yeah, and so now it says that they didn't started worshiping that serpent. But let me tell you what that serpent might have looked like. That bronze serpent. That bronze serpent, if I remember correctly, would have looked something like a caduceus.
Yeah.
Where y'all think they get that from?
Yeah.
And to this day, some people are still looking on that serpent to be what? Healed.
Yeah. And I don't know how many of y'all watch what's the one I like that we talk about that caduceus. Shattered Paradise.
Oh, Shattered Paradise.
But that's what they on right now. Like if you watch any of Shattered Paradise, they be talking about that caduceus, they be talking about Hermas and the gods and all them to deal with that. But anyway,
okay.
So he put his trust in Yahuwah, power of Israel, and after him was none like him among all the sovereigns of Yehuda, nor who were before him. And he clung to Yahuwah. He did not turn away from following him, but guarded his commands which Yah had commanded Moses. And Yahuwah was with him. Wherever he went, he acted wisely. And he rebelled against the sovereign of Ashur and did not serve him. He struck the Philistines as far as Azah and its borders.
That's Gaza, for y'all that's reading King James, believe it or not.
Wow.
The Philistines. In Gaza.
See, and they weren't supposed to be there. So this is the problem that we're you know what? Don't let me say that.
If y'all want to get to the history of the matter,
don't let me say because
if people want to say who was there first, it wasn't the Israelis.
No.
It wasn't the Khazars.
No.
It wasn't. These Philistines wasn't supposed to be there. Canaan was there, but he wasn't supposed to be there.
They were supposed to be removed completely. That was one of the spots. Was it Gideon that let them stay? Which one of them?
Several people let people stay.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Gideon or
even Joshua let people stay. Yahusha,
of Nun, So they struck the Philistines as far as Gaza and its borders, from Watchtower unto the walled city. And it came to be in the 4th year of sovereign Hiskiah, which was the 7th year of Hosea, son of Eli, sovereign of Israel, that Shalmaneser, sovereign of Ashur, came up against Shamaron and besieged him. And they captured it, and at the end of 3 years, in the 6th year of Hiskiah, that is the 9th year of Hosea, sovereign of Israel, Shamaron was captured. And the sovereign of Ashur exiled Israel to Ashur, and placed them in Halal and Habar, the river of Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes, because they did not obey the voice of Yahuwah their power, but transgressed his covenant, all that Moses the servant of Yahuwah had commanded, and they did not obey nor do them. And in the 14th year of the sovereign of Hiskiah, Sanherib, sovereign of Ashur, came up against all the walled cities of Yehuda and captured them. And Hiskiah, sovereign of Yehuda, sent to the sovereign of Ashur at Lachish, saying, I have done wrong. Turn away from me. I shall bear whatever you impose on me. And the sovereign of Ashur imposed upon Hiskiah, the sovereign of Yehuda, 300 talents of silver and 30 talents of gold. And Hiskiah gave him all the silver and was found in the house of Yahuwah, and the treasurers of the sovereign's house. At that time, Hiskiah cut off the doors of the Hekel of Yahuwah, and the doorposts which Hiskiah, sovereign of Yehuda, had overlaid, and gave it to the sovereign of Ashur.
Okay. Verse 17. And the sovereign of Ashur sent the Tartan, and the Rabsaris, and the Rabshakeh from Lachish with a great army against Jerusalem to sovereign Hiskiah. And they went up and came to Jerusalem. And when they had come up, they came and stood by the channel of the upper pool, which was on the highway, to the launderer's field. And they called to the sovereign, and Elakim, son of Hilkiah, who was over the household, and Shebna, the scribe, and Joah, the son of Asaph, the recorder, came out to them. Asaph was the one that used to be with King Dawid, or he's just got the same name.
They got to have the same name. This
This
about
years and years
1,000
later.
years now.
And the Rabshakeh said to him, please say to Hiskiyahu, thus says the great sovereign, the sovereign of Ashur, what is this trust in which you have trusted? You have spoken of my counsel and strength for battle, but they are only words of the lips. And in whom do you trust that you rebel against me? I got an idea. Now look, you have put your trust in the staff of this crushed reed, Mitzrayim, on which if a man leans, it shall go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh sovereign of Mitzrayim to all who trust him? But when you say to me, we trust in Yahuwah our power, is it not he whose high place and whose slaughter places Hiskiyahu has taken away? And said to Yehuda and Jerusalem, bow yourselves before this slaughter place in Jerusalem. And now I urge you, give a pledge to my master, to the sovereign of Ashur. Then I give you 2,000 horses if you are able to put riders on them. And how do you turn back the face of one commander of the least of my master's servants and put trust in Mitzrayim for chariots or horsemen? Have I now come up without Yahuwah against this place to destroy it? Yahuwah said to me, go up against this land. You shall destroy it. Then said Elakim, son of Hilkiyahu, and Shebna, and Joah to the Rebashk, or the Reb Shakeh. Please speak to your servants in Aramaic, for we understand it. And do not speak to us in the language of Yehuda, in the ears of all the people on the wall. And the Reb Shakeh said to him, has my master sent me to your master and to you to speak these words, and not to the men sitting on the wall, I apologize, and not to the men sitting on the wall to eat their own dung and drink their own urine with you? And the Rebasek stood and called out with a loud voice in the language of Yehuda, and spoke and said, hear the word of the great sovereign, the king of Ashur. Thus says the sovereign, do not let Hiskiyahu deceive you, for he is unable to deliver you out of his hand. And do not let Hiskiyahu make you trust in Yahuwah, saying, Yahuwah shall certainly deliver us, and this city is not given into the hand of the sovereign of Ashur. Do not listen to Hiskiyahu, for thus said the sovereign of Ashur, make peace with me by a present and come out to me. And let each one of you eat from his own vine, and each one from his own fig tree, and each one of you drink the waters of his own cistern until I come. Then I shall take you away to a land like your own land, a land of grain and new wine, a land of bread and vineyards, a land of olive trees and honey, and live and not die. But do not listen to Hiskiyahu when he misleads you, saying Yahuwah shall deliver us. Has any of the mighty ones of the nations at all delivered its land from the hand of the sovereign of Ashur? Where are the gods of the Hamath and the Arpad? Where are the gods? Where are the mighty ones of the Shawim, and Hinah, and Iowa, Did they deliver Shomeron from my hand? Who among all the gods of the lands has delivered their land out of my hand? And Yahuwah should deliver Jerusalem from my hand? But the people were silent and did not answer him a word. For the command of the sovereign was, do not answer him. And Eliakim, son of Hilkiah, who was over the household, said to Shebna the scribe, and Joah, son of Asaph, the recorder, came to Hizkiyahu with their garments torn, and they reported to him the words of Rabshakeh. It's going down, y'all. It's going down. At this point in time, Assyria's king was a king of kings, right? Like eventually we're going to see Nebuchadnezzar, who is a king of kings. And he done already took 10 tribes, and now he knocking at Yehuda's door saying, they done. Make an allegiance and a pledge with me, and I'll let you stay in your land and drink a little bit, eat a little bit before I take you somewhere else.
And talking junk too.
Talking mad trash, talking big stuff.
Like, don't let him fool you into believing in Yahuwah.
And I was just going to say before you read that, you know, this king's righteousness, you know, what he was doing seemed to have preserved them from the Assyrians for a minute. He turned right around and was like, oh, it's some more over there. I want that land too.
See.
I want that land too.
I don't see good things for this fellow.
Okay. Let's see, y'all got a few comments here. Let's see what y'all saying. Coty said, when I was younger, I always thought my grandma was a heathen because she didn't have any of those people up in her house like the pastor.
You talking about white Jesus, Obama, and Martin Luther King?
And look, in these days, black Jesus or whatever Jesus.
Yeah, now they got dread like Jesus. Most people got dread like Jesus.
Yeah. You say she used to say what?
She said her grandma said they don't pay no bills here.
Okay,
so I ain't mad at them.
Hey. The brass pole with the serpent wrapped around it, Cain says they copied what Moses did in Numbers and worship an idol. Cain. To this day, sis. To this day, like we were saying, you know, Shadow Paradise.
Shadow Paradise
does a lot about
they
that.
do, yeah, they do. Like if y'all haven't watched any of their videos, go to their channel. They do a lot of They show how much the world is really intertwined with that worship to this day. Like I was reading about when we was just reading here, he said something about the Iowas or something like that. Like they did that's still around today. They still practice that belief today.
Yeah. You will see a lot of that stuff still, and shout out to Sheriff Paradise, man. They do really good work, really good videos. A lot of the ancient worships that our people got in trouble for back then are still going on today, manifested in a slightly different way, packaged with a different wrapping,
change the name
different
a little
color
bit.
bow. Yeah, but if you dig into what is really going on, this is what is referred to now as ancient mystery teachings. Ancient mystery teachings. And the mystery is, it's wicked worship. Stop it. We ain't supposed to be doing. You want to know the mystery? That's what it all boils down to. Okay. I really still enjoy, I brought him up last week too. My man that does the.
When you see me turn my head to the back?
No. I'm talking about the one you say sound like Despicable Me.
Oh yes, Walter
Bay. Yeah, I still enjoy a lot of his lectures because, like I say, he goes into their own writings and shows you what they believe according to their own writings and how it ties back to all those ancient things. You know, even with Catholicism, Islam, you know, the Masonry, the black Pope, the Rosicrucians.
Yeah.
You know, and we don't mean black as in black melanin, but you know, yeah.
Yeah.
The Rosicrucians, all that stuff, man. It's and that's why I say is we were talking about, to circle back to when we first started, you know, recording today. All of that stuff is good to research and to understand for your own knowledge, but it's nothing without getting rooted in foundation first.
So when you cement yourself in your foundation, you, especially when you start digging into this other stuff that seduced our people in the past,
Right.
You know, now you're rooted. You know, now you got cement. Your feet in the cement. So you may
talked about
you know what I'm saying. You ain't going nowhere. You know, but I see a lot of people, before they even understand the basics, before they even read the whole handbook from front to back, they get to dabbling in this and dabbling in that. You know, I read this book and I read the book. And have you ever read the sacred knowledge of you have ever read the secrets of Jesus? Hold on.
Book of the Angels.
The secrets. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like the stuff you start now, and then next time you see them, they got a whole different swag about
They're
it.
out there looking like BS Michael.
You know what I'm saying? Out there look like Eric Badu with incense and stuff and ran unks and stuff.
I just watched a video by old boy this morning, Brooklyn St. Michael, saying that and it is crazy. Okay, so Brooklyn St. Michael, I say BS Michael. This is the one that used to call himself Brother Yarashi.
Yeah.
So he got a video out now where he's reading from a book by a Khazarian, 2939, and showing that his archaeology shows you that Israel is not the biblical people that you read about in the Bible. Archaeology don't prove that. Archaeology don't prove that there was ever a Red Sea split by Moses. Archaeology don't prove that Joshua and the Israelites came into Jericho, came into the land of Israel by way of Jericho and took over that land. Now, archaeology don't show that. Thus says this Khazar. So now, the word of the Khazar.
Right.
Who'd have thought at the very time that Israel started waking up, want to do away with the Bible altogether? Say, well, no, they're about to catch on. Let's do away with the Bible altogether.
So what about? So what he'd have to say is, all the archaeologists that proved it did.
No, throw that out.
Video documentation, actual artifacts.
Yeah, the Bronze Era wheels and chariots, or the pieces of chariots
in the Red Sea.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
No,
you throwing away all that. You know. I mean too. Either paying him or he went to that clinic Kanye was talking about. Kanye said, "Hey, they gonna try to get me at the clinic, but before they get me to the clinic, I'm gonna say all I need to say here." You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if they paying him or not. I don't know if he was ever 100% rooted out. You know, I don't know.
Let me tell y'all something. Let me try to explain what happens to you when you read the whole book. Right? So just think of, remember when you was a little kid, you used to watch those like Laura Croft, you know what I'm saying? So Tomb Raider, yeah. And she'll be reading a scroll or something, and she'll be trying to get through it, and you got to put all the pieces just right for the thing to move into the next level. So when you read the whole book from front to back, only then do the lights light up, and then the mechanisms in your mercy seat move and take you boom to the next level.
If you praying for discernment by the Ruach, like Iman said, dang.
So
we know some people that read the whole book from cover to cover and still is lost.
Man. but what happens is you got people like That is very knowledgeable. Was very knowledgeable.
He's still very knowledgeable, but now about worldly things.
But he sounded good. He's a good speaker.
He's a very good delivery.
He's very good. But that don't mean he read the book front to back.
No. I would have assumed he did.
Because the way he talked.
But you remember when we came into the truth, we were learning from, I'm using my air quotes, teachers that come to find out hadn't read the book from cover to cover. Because as we were reading through it cover to cover, we were beginning to ask questions and to question among ourselves about, wait a minute, why
like you couldn't
don't they
have
know
read
this?
Yeah,
Why don't they see that? Yeah.
The discipline it takes to read, to sit down and read that book from front to back.
It's not easy. Yeah.
It's not easy.
Okay. One of the other channels I like changed their whole tune. I was disappointed. I think someone took over his page and has him trapped somewhere.
Probably girl in the basement somewhere. Who knows?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? She said.
Because he said his eyes look straight black, like he's not even there anymore. It could be a spirit, sis. In all reality.
Yeah.
It could be a spirit that has overcome him. You know, it could be fear. You know, who knows what causes people to turn away from. I heard one brother say water one time. I was like, what you mean? You know, he was like, that ain't water. And what he was just making a reference to clean and pure, it says Yahusha is good water. Something that's not set apart. Who knows what can make people set apart? It could be fear. They come across something they don't want to accept. We had an elder say one time that he believes that what causes people to leave the truth is not accepting something that Yah is trying to show them. I think that's possible sometimes. Like when you refuse to accept what Yah is trying to show you. Parable of the sower.
Or
you
just
got several things.
Or just, you know, something I asked you to change that you just don't want to change.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm gonna tell you one of the things that when we first came into truth, that y'all hear me admit it. This ain't one of my proudest moments, but almost made me step back. But I found out I had to be obedient to my husband. You remember? Oh my goodness. I remember talking to you about it because although he was my husband, he was my best friend. And so he is my best friend. And so
I was like, ha! Told you.
But I'm like, and I'm talking to him. I'm like, so you think he mean like obedient? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you be like, you know, hey Red, lick my shoe. Like, yes, master. You know, like how obedient you think he's talking about? You know what I'm saying?
I remember being like, yeah, like
obedient. I'm like, I said, okay, maybe I'm gonna have to think about this a little bit more. You know, because I was a big feminist. I mean, huge feminist. It was crazy.
But that's the thing. Is like, is the one that you putting your faith and trust in to be obedient to going to ask you to do something that is not good or righteous?
Right.
Like lick my shoe.
Right.
Like kiss my feet. I started to use. I throw that N word out there. I gotta remember we got mixed company here sometimes. Like these cats out here on the streets and kiss. Like, yes, scripture does say the nations will bow down to you. That's just what it say. We can't get around it. But then are you in that position of righteous authority going to then do to them all the wicked things they did to you?
Right.
I don't think that's what we
really was a spiritual growth thing, because when I had got to the point where I could trust my husband, my whole walk changed. Because what I was saying is, when I got to the point where I can trust my husband enough to get rid of my plan B, shall we say?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Your plan B.
Yeah, because
always get in the way.
Well, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, you know, that's what trauma do to you. Trauma have what trauma did to me was I wasn't comfortable in any situation unless I had a plan B. I don't care if I went into the store to get some juice. You know what I'm saying? When I first walked into that store, I instantly started strategizing a plan B if this go down, you know what I'm saying? And so in my marriage, of course, you know what I'm saying, I'm in this marriage with this man, I have these children by him. If he flake out tomorrow, I need a plan B. I need to, because, you know what I'm saying, I ain't gonna get caught, you know what I'm saying?
Here's a beautiful thing about that. And there was something else we were talking about earlier that I was going to say something similar about. This is the place where I think that we as Akeem, the men, have to step up in. Because I love how the letters of Paul talk about what he refers to as the secret of marriage. And I remember when me and you were studying it, and the light bulb moment happened. And it's like, husbands treat your wives as Yahushua treat their sons. Oh my goodness, we read that how many times and don't realize what all that entails. I've talked to countless men, and as counselors, I Johnson, the elected here, I know y'all have as well, that are ready to throw away their wives. We're talking about a lukewarm brother in the truth with a woman who still is sticking to Christianity. And the brothers say she won't submit. She worshiping false idols. She not doing what I say. And now you ready to divorce her. Most of the time, the parallel story to that is you got an eye on something else that you think will submit. But that's not what is being said. And I've said this to several brothers that I've talked to. I said, remember what Yahushua put up with us? If we the assembly. And I'm not saying that to say that I could do what Yahushua did, because Yahushua put up with us being the bride, us being the wife in the situation. The nation of Israel and Yehuda, being a whore under every tree, lifting our skirts up for every body that walked by that looked like they had a trinket or a little dough or a nice ride. All of that. We did all of that, and Yahushua said, I'll still take you. We also read about Israel being cleaned up, and where one of the prophets is speaking and saying, I saw you, I lifted you up, I cleaned you off, I washed the blood off of you, I adorned you with gold, and so on and so forth. Yahushua is taking his bride with all of our trauma from slavery, from mistreatment, from oppression, from depression, from every mental illness, and saying, I got it, you've been through trauma, lean on it. Oh, I see you lashing out. It's okay, come on in, come closer. Oh, I see you want to run away because you got a plan B. It's okay, I'll still be here when you get back. That's what Yahushua is doing. And if we as men can understand that we have to be solid enough, studied enough, strong enough to do that with our wives, that's the secret. If you can understand that, then we also understand the relationship that Messiah has with the nation. That's the secret that the writer was talking. And I'm not saying that to say I got that down. Let me be clear. I'm saying that to say us, man, we need to be striving for that, because we also need to be teaching that to our sons and to our daughters. Trauma's there.
Personally speaking, from the female perspective, when me trusting you was like, and it's gonna sound crazy, and I know people gonna be like, oh, she husband worshiping. But when I learned to trust you, I learned to trust Yahuwah.
Hallelujah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna be honest, like,
I
you know
remember
what I'm
those
saying?
conversations.
Do you remember the headaches and stuff I used to get? And I had got, you know, I used to get, oh my goodness, I used to get bad migraines because I just was always thinking, always plan B, and always trying to control, and always trying to, you know what I'm saying? and I just get these headaches because it was so stressful, you know. And I remember when I didn't have a plan B if my husband cheated or left, went to get some cigarettes, and you know what I'm saying. I just had faith. I started having faith in him and believing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But I do. I remember those conversations because the conversation was, again, Messiah is the head. So as the wife is putting her faith in husband, so should husband be putting his faith and being obedient to Yahushua. And I'm gonna tell you something, and I've grown to understand this from dealing with Red.
She's from my trauma from dealing with Rick.
No. That's, yeah, we men have trauma too.
Yeah.
But and my trauma from my own life before we came together, and then my trauma from dealing with Red. No. But what I learned, and what I'm saying, you as my wife helped me mature into, is understanding that what the wife sees modeled from the husband is so important. So if you're saying, trust me, I got you, I'm going to lead you, and I want you to follow me, you have to also be submitting, trusting, and following Yahushua.
Yep. Because
if the wife is not seeing us as a man walk out what we saying we want her to walk out, why should she?
Yeah.
It take me back to when I was a child in church, and I talk about the getting baptized and speaking in tongues. Once I realized it was faking fraudulent.
Yeah, not fraudulent. Not fraudulent.
Once I realized it was fake and fraudulent, I had no respect for it at all. Yeah. So in the same way, as men, how can you expect your wife to have respect for you or put faith in you when you don't respect what you say you believe in enough to hold yourself accountable?
To stand on that.
Yeah, you're not doing what you're saying. You're not showing the example that you're saying you want her to follow.
Because it's one thing to and I this is what I tell my sons. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? You grow comfortable with your woman because, you know, she there with you all the time. And so you let down your guards. But she your first study is she's studying you. If you're a hypocrite, she gonna know it. If you weak, she gonna know it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If you weak, she gonna know it. You know what I'm saying? And so if when she met you, you was, you know, trust Yah, have faith in Yah, this, you know what I'm saying? But you didn't get comfortable, and now she's seeing that you ain't really about that life, and you only want to use Yah when it's trying to control me, obviously. Right. You know what I'm saying?
That's a big
thing.
From what I hear.
She's not gonna trust you. She's not gonna respect you because she see you. She see you, and she know you fraudulent. You're fraudulent.
You said that way more fluidly than I did.
Well, you know,
you put a little west side on it.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
All right, family. I don't want to ramble, but my children say, you know what? It seems like y'all recordings be a little bit longer when it's you and mommy than it is.
You know what they say?
You and the children.
You know what they say? They said I rub my mouth too much. That's what they were saying.
That's not what they say. Here's what it is. I love when the children help. You got a few more years in this thing, so we got a little bit more to discuss and bring out when it's us too. But I'm expecting that we're gonna have more to bring out when I'm talking to them too.
Yeah, the more they grow and study and research. We're gonna get our oldest daughter on here with you one day.
We can get out from behind the camera, being camera shy.
I know. Told her you are. Hey, we love y'all. Now that was good stuff, y'all. Hey, hallelujah.
Family, love y'all to life. And if it's y'all's will, we will see y'all next Shabbat.
Not me, but somebody.
See how she getting out of this work?
I work. I put in work. Oh my goodness.
All right,
Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat shalom. Y'all bless. We will see y'all again, y'all willing, next week.
Hey.
Upon his goodness. Lee, I got it by the Ruach Coco Dash. Yes, whenever I get dressed, yes, I'm dripping Kodesh fresh. Yes, this style fit me down to a T because I'm a ruffian, discussing precepts from the holy manual of his constructions. And TZs cover 4 corners of my garment. Greet me with shalom before you step into my carpet. Yah is not the author of confusion, I beg your pardon, but Yahuwah Zabaoth can stop it before it's even thought about.